Perfect. All right. All right, everyone. Again, Sheriff Ball, Pulaski County Sheriff, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight to the community forum. Sorry it's taking a little bit longer than what I planned. We wanted to have this a lot earlier, but with things going on in the jail and staffing and stuff like that, I was working the jail a lot. So now that we're full strength, give me time to catch up on a lot of other stuff. And then we had a class last week for all the sheriffs in the state of Missouri. We put out a lot of good information for us as sheriffs. But first off, I want to start off with I have Chief Mike Campbell, and he's got a presentation to give to one of our deputies.
Thanks, Sheriff. All right, my name is Chief Deputy Chief Mike Campbell, Tri-County Fire Protection District, and this is Gary and Kimberly Hess, firefighters. And our department would like to recognize one of the great deputies, one of the many great deputies that serves the citizens of Pulaski County. We're going to make this short and sweet because I know the sheriff has a large agenda. But before I get started, as a former law enforcement officer, I want to say no place in any of my duty descriptions has it ever said drag hose and put wet stuff on the red stuff. Deputy Humphrey, come up, please. All right, sir, on behalf of Tri-County Fire Protection District and Chief Russell Hall and the Board of Directors, we'd like to present you with a certificate of appreciation. Tri-County Fire Protection District certificate of appreciation is presented to Deputy Charles Humphrey for exceptional performance on 25 May during a commercial structure fire at the Richmond Housing Authority. Deputy Humphrey was the second unit on scene and assisted 2 firefighters in suppression and extinguishment operations. His actions was instrumental in containing the fire to 1 unit. Deputy Humphrey went above and beyond the everyday scope of duties of a law enforcement officer. His action to serve and protect reflects his obligations to Pulaski County Sheriff's Department and the citizens of Pulaski County. Thank you, sir. And the 2 firefighters, the only 2 that showed up because everybody else was camping that weekend. Okay, they'd like to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I had just had knee surgery recently and I was in a lot of pain. And due to Officer Humphrey's help, he made my job easier. He didn't ask, he just acted in, started pulling hose, started helping me straighten it out. I could not have done my job as good as I did without his help.
And to piggyback off of that, I was the firefighter who was on the job of extinguishment, and I had 3 other outlying things that needed to be protected. And without his help of controlling one of the outlying buildings, we could have had a whole lot bigger of a problem. But we didn't, because he stepped in, said, "What can I do to help you?" and instantly went to work.
Awesome.
Chief, he had 7 hours of overtime that day, so I'll So what a way to open up. That's what they signed up to do. They signed up to not only protect and defend, but also to help out however they can. And I'm lucky to have deputies like that that will reach out. And we try not to get in the way because fire has their thing, medics have their thing. So we try not to interfere. We try and keep the peace and keep everything safe. But all they got to do is ask any of my deputies for help, and they will gladly help however they can. So I'm glad he was there, and thank you for that, Chief. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Next thing I want to do is I got Detective Joe Schmo in the back here. What we did was we bought an Apex 7. And an Apex 7, if you don't, it reads, so we don't have to handle, like, especially fentanyl. We don't have to handle dangerous drugs. So we bought this device, and this device here will tell us just about every chemical compound known right now. They're always coming up with more. You got fentanyl, you got carfentanil, you got what's another fentanyl? I mean, there's 3 or 4 different. All they do is change one molecule and change it to something else. But this keeps the drugs out of our hands and lets us identify it the field expedient way. It still goes to the lab. It still gets professionally run through the spectrograph at the highway patrol. But this will give us an idea of what that substance is. So when we send it off, we can say suspected fentanyl. We can mark the packages that it is suspected fentanyl, so that way it keeps our lab people safe and things like that. So what I want to do, I'm going to turn it over to the Detective Schmo and let him talk to you a little bit about the Apex 7. It's a great tool.
This tool saves a lot of money in the long run if you think about it. Workers' comp claims. It saves on testers like this. These are very expensive. And all you do is just put it on the bag and test it. This is what a actual test looks like when you print it off. I'm going to pass it around. It's got pictures and everything on what gets tested and where it gets tested, the GPS coordinates. We'll print it back easily. Just have it front and back. But it lets you know what the fentanyl test looks like. It's a class 3 laser, so it actually can keep stuff on fire. You can't do organic stuff with it, like marijuana, like black tar heroin, stuff like that. It does, like this right here. Most time, like back when he was younger, you'd actually have to go in and test it. But now all you do is press the button, sync it up. Oh, didn't turn it on. Stand by. Just turn it on, you sync it up, and it Bluetooth, and you press the button and it goes. This is ibuprofen. It's nothing bad. I didn't take anything in here.
Tell him.
Because I don't want everybody to feel comfortable. Because actually, I'm going to have people, if you want to, come up here and watch if you want to get closer and see this happen. It's not like it's. Come on. And it's all on your phone. There's nothing. That's the work phone. So it's all. You press continue. You put it on what you want to test. You press start scan. Acknowledge that it's a laser, a 3B laser. They put that through your head the whole time you're doing this training, and it tests. And all you do is wait. It's about a 15 to 30 second test, and it saves a lot of man hours, a lot of time, and there you go. And it comes back ibuprofen. And when you do that test, there's an option you can do a field test just to verify your findings, and then you can take a picture of what you tested along with that, so it can go to the prosecutor's attorney with your probable cause statement. So instead of waiting 3, 4, 5 months to get somebody in jail, they can get put on a 24-hour hold and they can get put in jail on a warrant then. So it saves the process goes a lot quicker when it comes to this, and it's proven. Like you can look at the test, and I've literally done. If you start at the top, you can literally see. That's how much I've been testing with this. And I've only had it since April or May.
Yeah.
So I've literally done 50 tests with it. And that helps the deputies and the detectives or other departments. I go help St. Robert, Waynesville. I help Highway Patrol. And it just long run, it makes the department better and safer.
Yeah, it's not just a county asset. It's or not just a sheriff's office asset. We use it throughout the county to help other agencies as well. So he'll get called at 1 a.m. if you bring a tester out, and then he'll go out and test it. So
That's my job. So
You got 2 different drugs, say fentanyl and some other drug. Does it depict those
I'm
2?
glad you asked that. I was getting ready to go into that. On one of these tests, like this one right here, I'll show you. Go down here. That's the chemicals right there tested.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a whole list of them. You see them? Right here. It'll let you know. It'll let you know what's in there. The main one, the top, and then the other part Right here. It's like a $75 word for the $3 a minute. So they have one it's called the MDX 90, 907, 908, and that's what you're talking about. It's like a mass spectrometer, a handheld one.
Right.
But we don't have that. It's too expensive.
Yeah, of course.
So is there any questions about this?
That one was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's the distance that it can read at?
They like to have it directly on it just to get more accurate readings, but you can hold it back a little bit, not very often. But also, if you think it's something that's that bad, I can do this and walk away with 100 feet and press scan.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes. So it's all about safety. This job's trying to be more safe these days, and that does make our job more safe.
In the class today, you talk about anything that would confuse the laser or make it have a bad read?
It depends on if there are chemicals in the library, because the library is for days. Yeah, it depends on which one you get. There's an updated library that you can get like TNT, bomb making material on it. I just do drugs. So, sorry, I test for drugs. I'll rephrase it. Anybody had another question? Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, percentage wise, using the machine compared to when it comes back from the lab, what's the accuracy?
So far, 100%.
100%. That's a question on that one. I know it, and that's not just, I know. When people, sometimes when you find some drugs, you test them something else, and you take it out to the lab, sometimes you feel that individual a ticket, and then later on, when they come back positive, then you put out a warning, and sometimes whatever reason takes a little bit longer. Is there any type of concept when it's 100% that you don't have to wait as long?
Well, like I said, the prosecutor's on board with, so I can print that off, just like the stuff going right, this right here. I can print that off and give it to the deputy,
Okay.
and the prosecutor will read it, see the picture and everything, and they'll go off the case law about it, and they'll file out a warrant then. And they'll start the case proceedings after that. So, go ahead.
How long has this technology been going on?
Been a while. It's been a long time. We had a thing called a TrueNarc before. It was through a task force. It was through South Central Drug Task Force. It's just it's smaller and it's better, I think, quality.
Nowhere near what that thing does.
No.
Right. And then, I totally forgot my other question.
So it's been, if you look up ramen, yeah, it's called Apex R7 ramen.
Like the noodles?
RAMEN, that's 100%. It'll tell you a little bit more information about that.
So is Pulaski County, do you know what other agencies use this technology, or you guys?
No, I
one
do
of the
not.
First,
I don't know of any
I-
agency
I,
with that. Most have TrueNarcs, but
Okay.
I reviewed, I went over and checked a lot of these out on the internet,
Yeah.
watched read the reviews. I was used to using TrueNarc, so I was biased on that one, but then I read this one and read the reviews on it, and I was like, maybe we should try it, and we had them in, and it worked great.
So,
well, I think I was going after the big expensive one, but
Right.
he told me about this one, and we can buy two of them for the price of one. So
nice. So is it if you have to be part of a specific like force in order to get your hand on that, or can anybody buy it? Do you see it being a problem fighting the war on drugs? Like if somebody dealing does have, like, I don't know.
I don't think there's
That
any
would be, but-
restrictions on it
No.
to purchase it.
And there's a certification you can take.
Yes,
How-
the company will come here,
Okay.
and they actually came here and trained us. There was a few of us, there was, St. Robert was here. But yeah, they actually had a certification class for this laser, and they also had a certification for these.
Okay.
So,
Which are pretty accurate as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Does your drug task force, what is it, like area?
Lake Area Narcotics Enforcement.
Do they have one of those, or do they utilize something like that, just?
I think they got a few more, don't they?
If
No, they don't have
if they have a company,
I think they have TrueNarcs. Yeah, I think they do. They have a couple of them, but they also have this at their disposal as well, if they need it.
great.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So getting into the sheriff's office mission to make Pulaski County safe and enjoyable in a place that you can live and work. we want to be a leader in the community as a sheriff's office. My goal is to be the best daggone sheriff's office in the state of Missouri and across the country. But I definitely want to be the best law enforcement agency in this area. So the only way I can do that is to give my guys the tools that will make them better, that will make everything that we do more efficient. Because I'm telling you now, our guys are swamped with cases. Our detectives probably about 30 cases each. Our deputies are 25 to 30 cases each. We have a significant amount of call volume, and for a Class 3 county, and I've said it all kinds of times, but we're the largest Class 3 county in the state of Missouri based on residency. We have 55,000 residents in the state of Missouri, and I'm sorry, in Pulaski County. We should actually be a Class 1 county, but because Fort Leonard Wood is separate from Pulaski County, we can't add that land value assessment to our books, which keeps it as a Class 3. So we're a Class 3 county with Class 1 problems. And I have nowhere near the manpower that a Class 1 county has, but we work through it. That's not an excuse. We charge along, and we do these cases, and we do them with professionalism. And that's the main thing right there. We don't use excuses. We don't have the manpower, but some of this equipment that we are getting will kind of ease the burden in some ways of manpower. And I'll get into some of that here in a few minutes. But first, I just want to give you a snapshot of the last 7 months as a sheriff here in Pulaski County. And over the past 7 months, we've had 6,700 calls for service. Everything from 911 calls that we get from the 911 call center to shots fired to animals to stolen property to burglaries. And compared to last year at this time, it was 5,900. So that shows you the influx of calls. And I hope and pray that it's because they trust us that we're going to come out, that they know when they call the sheriff's office, they're going to get a deputy. And we do, and with a high call volume, though, 2 deputies work in the county or 3 deputies at any time work in the county, then volume, it makes the nights go quicker. But at the end of the day, when you come back in, you have like 7 cases from that night. It just adds on to what we already have. So, but we intend to fix that through some certain ways. Crime trends showed domestic disturbance and disturbance cases in general, as well as assaults, are on a steady rise. And I think that's because they are calling us now versus not reporting it. They're now reporting it. That's my hope. Burglaries, they're at an uptick right now. Mental and emotional calls, they're growing. We have a lot of mental and emotional calls where we got to deal with mentally and emotionally unstable people. Most of us have been through SIT training, crisis intervention training, which is great training that helps us cope and deal with how to deal with these certain individuals. But with those, just as domestic disturbances are probably the worst call to go to, because that puts the deputy in that much more danger, because you never know what the other spouse is going to do once they put handcuffs on one. And if there's only one there, because I can't always have 2 people there. Our goal is to have 2 people at a domestic disturbance, but depending on the calls, depending on the volume, it might just be 1 deputy, and that deputy will clear out and get there as fast as possible to the disturbance. But mental and emotional is our next most dangerous call to deal with, just because of the instability that person is going through at that time. So I'm fortunate to have deputies that are able to de-escalate and not make something a lot bigger than what it should be. And we're able to work with our partner agencies throughout the community, COMC and our ambulance district, and things like to get the ambulance out to check them out, to get our COMC folks out there to help de-escalate, and hopefully get them to where they need to go for better resources versus being stuck in a cell downstairs that does absolutely nothing for a mentally unstable person. But that's what it's come back to. The over across the United States, the sheriff's offices are the mental institutes for the states, and it sucks. It's not a good place to be. I have 75% of my people down there have some type of mental, instability, and that jail is doing them no good. But we're waiting on beds, so we have to deal with them in the meantime, and that's what we're doing. I've told my guys I want traffic stops, traffic stops, and I use my canines religiously on these traffic stops for open air sniffs. Open air sniffs have been proven. They do not violate your Fourth Amendment right. We're not searching, but my canine handler, Humphrey, and my other canine handler, JD, they just walk the dog around the car. I put this out many times. I'm going to keep putting it out. If you're smuggling, if you got dope in your car, I don't care if you got a bag full of McDonald's cheeseburgers in your bag. Stitch and Alex will sniff it out. The two Waynesville dogs will sniff it out. They will smell that odor. They will alert on it. And at that time, it's game over after that. So they keep trying, and we keep finding it. So enforcing our laws on the road, making those stops is a big, because that's where not being proactive and just letting things go. I'm sorry, reactive, letting things go and waiting for the calls. Now we're being more proactive out there in Pulaski County, doing what we should be doing, serving our citizens, and then making those stops when we have, and we don't need probable cause for an open air sniff either. So it's been all through the Supreme Court, Missouri Supreme Court, and there's nothing that says that as long as we don't search, and the dog's not searching, the dog's smelling, it's sniffing. So that's been a big difference, especially these last several months, because these dogs are finding a lot of stuff in cars, and it's paying off. So they work very hard, and they train very hard to make sure that their dogs are at the top of their game. They do training every day. Weekends, it doesn't matter. They got a training book. They keep a log, and they're training their dog to make sure that they are proficient and smelling the odors of certain narcotics. On drugs and fentanyl, it's meth and fentanyl are the biggest thing in this county, and we are going to continue to fight it. We're never going to win the war on drugs, but we're going to put a dent in it as hard and fast as we can. And to say that, I talked to the coroner today, and God bless, I don't want to jinx this, but August 4th was his last call out for unconscious, unresponsive. So the results from that haven't come back in from the autopsy, but that was the last call for him to go out for an unconscious, unresponsive that wasn't revived at scene. So you can take that one or two. Either what we're doing is working, and we're scaring them, or they're not going unconscious and responsive. So, or they got their Narcan and they're not having to call. So I like to think that we're actually doing a job, and that's getting that poison off the street. Finally, the jail, my jail. I got to give these guys credit if you never worked in jail, and I know some of y'all in here are pastors down in the jail and come down for religious services for these guys and gals. These guys are probably the hardest working people in my office. No offense, deputies, but what they deal with day in and day out, what they do day in and day out deserves a lot of credit, because that is a job that nobody wants to do. I am fortunate to have a very good jail administrator now, who goes hand over foot to make sure that everything's squared away. The jail is the sheriff's biggest problem. The jail, it will get me a lawsuit quicker than you can, whatever analogy you want to use. These guys are down there trying every way they can to try and come up with some type of lawsuit. I've already seen it. I've already been through it. But sometimes something happens and it's a valid lawsuit, and we are going through a couple. Not since I've been here, but we still have a couple that are on the board to be dealt with, and we're going to deal with them. But the biggest thing I told my guys when I came in here, I need to get them trained. They need to be trained how to work the jail. I could only afford 5, and I've managed to get 5 through, and I got another 5 to get through, and I got a couple that are already trained. So we're going to be hosting another academy here soon to get those last 5 trained up. And it makes a world of difference, because now I can put more trust in those people, in those folks, because now they've been through the MSA Academy, and it is a certified sheriff's academy that they go through for it's 2 days a week for 3 weeks, and it's pretty intensive. They test afterwards. They got to pass the test to get their certificate. So it's good training overall, and it shows that you can see a difference from my new hires that haven't been through to my ones that are down there now. So they're doing great things, and I don't give them thanks nowhere near enough. And after working the jail for a couple months, I have a newfound respect and love for those guys. So and gals. So it is hard work dealing with those people every day. Uh, it's crazy what they go through. If you've never been in a jail and seen these guys working, I know some people in here have did the tour of the jail, and you can always come in for a tour of the jail and see. Hiding nothing, not hiding anything. You want a tour, you come in. I don't care if it's you or a group. It doesn't matter. I'll take you down and show you. And I won't call down and say, "Hey, you got a group come through." I want you to see it as is. Just like I walked Mr. Rose and the provost marshal and stuff through last week, and I mean it's eye opening. It's a lot better than up there, the old jail by far, but it's still work, and they work pretty hard, and I'm pretty happy and proud of those guys. So, like I said before, I want to bring the sheriff office into the technology age and get things done. But with technology, it costs money. But we've been going through. I've been putting in grants that I'll go through in a little bit. I've been writing grants like crazy the past month and a half. 3 of them have gotten through and gotten approved, and I'm still waiting on four big ones that hopefully gets passed. But with the technology, we have a drone. Drone can only be used during the day. I've had several missions, more than you can count on 2 hands, of missions that I needed a drone for, and I've had to ask other agencies for a drone. So I put in for a grant for a high-speed drone from Skydio, American made, infrared, FLIR, night vision. It can take video. It's got a loudspeaker on it if I need to use it. So I'm putting in, that grant is actually up tomorrow, and I'm waiting on one more quote, and then I will submit that grant tomorrow before the 5 o'clock deadline, and we'll see what happens. But that's a pretty quick turnaround grant, because we just got it last Thursday, so I've been working hard on that one. But the drone capability, again, it's not a device that we use for invasion of privacy. It's not a device we use for violating your 4th Amendment rights. It's a device that we use for law enforcement purposes to give us a visual from overhead for whatever incident, whether it's an active shooter, whether it's a car chasing away. I mean, we can use the drone. The drone flies at this one flies at like 45 miles an hour, but we can put that thing up in the air, change out batteries, and we can have that drone up in the air pretty much continuously until needed. But that drone is a huge capability, so I put in a grant for that versus paying for it out of our budget. The license plate readers, another upgrade that's going up in our county. The flocks. Again, a lot of people say it's a 4th Amendment violation. It is not. It takes a picture of your back of your car. And I want to stress to you, as long as you haven't kidnapped somebody, if you haven't robbed a bank and drove off in your car, you haven't committed any crimes and drove off in your car, a burglary or anything like that, then you really have nothing to worry about. Because we're looking for those people that have committed crimes and we verified they've committed crimes. We just can't use a license plate reader to, and I do have a policy on the flock readers. I do have, the deputies do have parameters that they will go by to use that because they can't use it unless it's for a law enforcement purpose. And the plate's got to come back here to our dispatcher. And it's also run through mules at the highway patrol. So, there are certain areas and I say checking on girlfriend and stuff like that, girlfriend's car, wife's car, something like that. That's because it's been done. But as a sheriff with my written policy, and the deputies that are utilizing this technology and what it's supposed to be for, then I have my trust and faith that they will use it just for that. And if not, they will be terminated. That is instant termination. But that license plate reader there, that allows us to be even more proactive because we can now catch people committing crimes in real time versus being reactive and waiting for a call to come in to say, hey, just had a bank robbery here in Richland and, and they went west. Well, with my cameras, they run by my camera. They run through and that's the thing with this technology is I can see Phelps County cameras. I can see Laclede County cameras. I can see St. Louis County cameras. I can see anybody that's got a flock. I can see as long as they give me permission, and they can see mine as long as I give them permission. So it's a statewide, it's county. I mean, they're all over the United States, and it's a great tool for the deputies to be able to respond and in real time and get to the area they need to be, so that way they can make the arrest if needed. Or see what the situation holds when they get there. So another great product that we're getting for this county to get us up into that information age. We bought 8 repeaters. If you don't know about repeaters is what allows us changes the signal from the UHF radio to a digital radio and sends it to our dispatch. So we had purchased, I don't know, last year or so, we purchased a lot of radios, very expensive radios, but we couldn't use them to talk because you can't talk outside of the car unless you're about 4 feet away from the car. So my deputy's no good. That's a safety issue in of itself. So what we did, we used our federal drug seizure money that we got back from a drug bust that actually I did back in 2018. But it finally came to us, so it was kind of ironic that it's my case and we get that money. But that money went towards the purchase of 8 repeaters to get half my fleet done. Because even if two deputies are running together and one's got a repeater, one doesn't, that handheld will still work off the other repeater. But as I'll get to the grants in a minute, I'll tell you how we're gonna strengthen that up to get all of our fleet with these repeaters. Every deputy wears a body camera. You can look by. Every deputy wears a body camera. This isn't just for your protection; it's for our protection as well. So that when I get a call from a citizen and they say, Sergeant Cooner, he was rude to me, MF'd me all over the place, and he said this and said that. I can say, Sergeant Cooner, I need to see your body camera video. He'll pull it up, and then I can watch that body camera video, and I can see exactly what happened, and make a determination of. I get complaints all the time for this or that, but that body camera there is what helps protect my deputies as well as you from your stop. So if you ever have a complaint or anything like that, know that I will be checking body camera video, and I'll go from there. I'll either call them back like I had before, say this is not the video that I'm seeing of what you displayed or what you talked to me about, and we'll have a conversation. So with that, all our deputies are wearing them. And finally, looking to modernize the dispatchers, modernize for our dispatcher deputies and detention officers. I'm looking at a state-of-the-art CAD system, CAD, RMS, and JMS. And the CAD system is what we use for the deputies for their cases and for our dispatchers to do the calls. RMS is our record management, what keeps our records into and what syncs our records with. Right now, well, let me get it. And JMS is our jail management system. So right now we use an antiquated system called Crime Star. It looks like imagine Atari, playing the old Atari with the joystick and playing PS5. That's the difference. And it doesn't link to my evidence. And my evidence is the second thing that's going to get me hemmed up on if I'm not careful. So when the deputies have their evidence, they do their evidence, and then they tag it, and then they put it in the evidence locker, and the evidence tech comes in the next morning, puts a sticker on it, and puts it in his system. So we haven't had that issue, thank God, because evidence tech is pretty high speed. But accidents do happen. We're not perfect. But one number off on a serial number for a gun could mean the case. So with a system like this, like we're looking at for my deputies and my jailers and my dispatch, it will now sync up what the deputies do out there. It's Windows based. So what they do out there, and they make an arrest, and they put the information in for the arrest. They click a button, say that checks he's arrested. Well, that sends that information to my RMS, my JMS, my jail. Now my jail knows somebody's coming in, and all that information that the deputy put in the computer is now on that JMS instead of coming in and starting all over with the same information. And it also, any evidence that we take, it will also document and link that evidence with that case. So when the evidence tech comes in, it's in his system, through our system, and then he just prints out a label and has to stick it on. Versus, put it in, make sure it's in his, and puts it, his label on it and puts it on the shelf, whatever, where he's labeling that. So it links everything together. And right now we don't have that. Crime Star is 25,000 versus a state-of-the-art CAD system versus 100,000. So with my budget, there's no way for me to afford that. But through grants, through finding money in other places that we can get it for this, and that's not only $100,000 to get the system. That's $100,000 every year for upkeep. So it blows my mind how much these people make, but I mean, it's a software system that's already developed. All they do is push a button to send out updates. But we're paying $100,000 for somebody to push that button. So it's not the best system that I'm looking at, but it is a very good system. It does use AI, which is structured AI, and it's a secure AI, which will, for instance, my body camera, the deputy's body camera footage, he can set it up to the, or you can print it out and it'll transcribe, it'll read the body camera, it'll transcribe the deputy and whatever interaction he's having with that person. So, which is a great tool because right now my deputies spend hours sitting behind the desk watching body camera footage. They do their case, they're watching body camera footage, they're typing, they'll pause it, they'll type, they'll watch it again, and they're typing. It's back and forth. And as you know, it's going to take a while. But with a CAD system like that, that will, again, less time the deputies are spending on cases, give them a true and accurate readout of the transcription. It also has AI assist. I wish I could say we are scholars at writing reports, but we're not. I'm not just law enforcement in general. Writing reports is not everybody's favorite thing to do. And you're reading a book, going through a page of things, and then you get down to the last, and that's the meat and potatoes of it. A lot of us write how we talk. So with the AI technology built into this, and again, I said it's secure, it's built for law enforcement. It knows and learns and understands our terminology. It helps to put that report in a better format, easier to read, takes out all the nonsense. and then we go from there. So again, it's a time-saving tool that we can use to make, again, the deputy has to read his report, make sure that it didn't put something in there that it shouldn't have, but as many people that use the system I'm looking at, that's not something I've heard has been an issue with it. So again, another tool for the deputies and for this office to get up in the information age to try and spend more time on the road than having to do all these cases. So grants, I talked about grants. Right now, three of our grants we've written have been approved. One for body armor for 15,000 because all my body armor expires this year. A grant for victim violence, mainly women victims of women of violence. Right now, if my deputies go out at 2 o'clock in the morning to a domestic and they got a victim that's been beaten and no place to go, been kicked out of the house, whatever. Right now, before my deputies say, let's call COMPSI, let's call victim advocate, well, we're still making them calls. However, now my deputies can take them to a hotel, get them a room. If they need clothes, buy them clothes. If they need food, buy them food. If they have kids, buy the kids clothes, buy the kids food. And then I take them receipts from my credit card and submit them to the state of Missouri, and they reimburse me what I spent on taking care of that person that was victimized. So another tool, instead of sitting there wondering where we can put this person, now the deputies know what we can do. They know we can put this person into a hotel for a couple nights, and I'm paying for it out of my budget. However, I get reimbursed, but we got to take care of them some way somehow, and that's another way we can take care of them and make sure that they're safe for a couple until victim advocates can get involved and find something more permanent. It also helps if we ever have to do any type of witness protection. It pays for my overtime for my deputies for witness protection. We've never run into that, but it's written in there, so it's another safeguard for us in case we have to perform that kind of function. Some other grants that I've written. We've written, because I didn't write this one, the supplemental pay for deputies. Right now, we're the lowest paid sheriff's office in all the sheriff's offices around us, to include local agencies. But we get the supplemental fund, which puts an extra $150 in our deputies' pockets a month. So it was 100 and something. Now I think it's 185 now. It was 100, now it's 185 because they upped the grant. So we got that approved. Also, the big budget that I'm waiting on, or the big grant that I'm waiting on, is the Blue Shield grant. If you don't know, Pulaski County is a Blue Shield county now, which means that we're being proactive out there in the community. My commissioners work with me to police this community and help me do what I need to do as a sheriff to get what I need for my deputies to perform their function. And the commissioners, I got to say, the commissioners have been great with me. I've had zero issues with them. What I've asked for stuff and they've said no, but I've asked for a lot of stuff and they've said yes. So you pick your fights, but the commissioners, I can honestly say, have been not an issue with the sheriff's office, and we work very well together, which I'm pleased that we are. Because a lot of times, a lot of places, like a lot of sheriff's offices, the commissioners and the sheriffs fight. That's all they do is fight. They get nothing accomplished. Well, it takes a team, and they are part of the team as well. But with the Blue Shield grant, because we're a Blue Shield county, the governor, through the grant, it's got to get approved, but it's only available for Blue Shield counties and cities. But it's a $50,000 grant that I've ordered extra ballistic protection for our SRT. Right now, our plates are about 12, 15 pounds each. These plates are coming in at 3 or 4 pounds each, which may not sound like a lot or a big difference, but if you've ever worn body armor in Iraq or Afghanistan, or body armor period, with ceramic plates, then you know that it's, for the first 5 minutes is fine, but after that, you're hobbling around like who's that guy at the church. Hunchback, yeah, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So, but with that, then in this grant, I've included 8 more repeaters to complete my fleet so that every vehicle has a repeater. And we don't have any issues with communication. Also, within that grant, 2 trauma bags. We don't have any trauma bags for SRT. We need trauma bags in case something happens to one of our officers or a victim on site. We have enough, we always have an ambulance staged, but before that ambulance gets there, what can we do before that? 'Cause we're not just gonna stand around and look at them. We have to treat them as well. They're an injured person that we may have injured, or been injured before we got in there, but we have to perform first aid before the medics actually arrive. So, but it's an actual trauma bag. Also, a couple of handhelds, and these are Motorola Apex 8000s. I mean, they're like $9,000 radios, but that's what we use. That's what the county bought before I got here, and I want it all standardized. So that way we're all on the same sheet of music as far as if I got to get my hand held up, we're not worrying about who how to do what. I've also submitted a $90,000 grant to the Gary Sinise Foundation. Gary Sinise Foundation supports law enforcement first responders like crazy. I hope he supports me. But I submitted for a $90,000 mobile dispatch center. Right now, like I said about Crime Star, it's Atari versus PlayStation 5. Our dispatch console is the same console. It's antiquated. It's old. Matter of fact, it went down last night, and we had to have somebody come in at like 1 o'clock in the morning to try and get it back up because we've lost contact with our deputies, and that's a safety issue. So, and that's happened numerous times, usually when it's raining. But we need something better, and we need to bring our dispatchers up in time too, because with that dispatch console, that shows them real time. That shows deputies on the map going across the county, shows where they're at in case something happens and not respond to the radio. So there's all kinds of safety issues that go along with that, but also it helps them with their because if you ever been in dispatch and seen I'll take you toward the dispatch. Watch them. They got like 6 pages up, 6 different pages with 6 different calls, and they're going through each call. And they'll pop up this call. They'll get a phone call, and they'll pop up this call, and they'll write a new one. It's it will help alleviate a lot of that burden that the come in. It'll help alleviate a lot of that burden for my dispatchers as far as having all those windows up and be able to help kind of formulate that CAD for them as they're going through with the deputies and pulling up a new one and formulate that. And it does work well with the this is the CAD or with the CAD system. It also works with AI technology to help the dispatchers as well. And then the drone, I'm submitting that drone grant tomorrow. And like I said, it's got FLIR, night vision, and things like that. So we won't have to call other departments. And again, that is a county-wide asset, not just the sheriff's office. So if Waynesville needs it, if now we have to fly it because we're getting the license for it, but we can still take that asset out there and help another agency, another county, just like they've helped me the many times that I've needed them. Community programs, and we're almost done, and I'll open it up to you all. But community programs. Policing isn't something that we can do alone, that I can do alone, my deputies can do alone. It takes a whole community to do what we're doing. And through my app, I think that we've helped bridge that gap with community because now we're getting tips like crazy. And I need the community's help. I want the community's help. So if you see something, say something. And like I've said previous times, it may not mean nothing now. And if you send me something through the app, you're not going to get a response because you're submitting anonymous unless you put your information on there. But it may not mean nothing right now. That tip you send tomorrow may not mean nothing then. But as we're putting this puzzle together, sooner or later that's going to mean something. So that's how we got to then tips. You may not think they're helping, or you may think they're a waste of time, but I'm telling you now, we look at those tips. I put them on a spreadsheet for the deputies to see, and we act on those as we can, or we go back to that sheet and we see these tips and we start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So they are helping. And Pulaski County, I want you to continue to submit your tips. My Citizen on Patrol program and Civilian Police Academy, that's something that I knew I wouldn't be able to get to this year because there's a lot to do. A lot that I want to accomplish this year before I get into that. I don't want to put the cart before the horse and just start an academy and then nothing. So, but next year I want to open up a Citizens Academy, and those Citizen Academy graduates, they can volunteer if they wish to be on the community police or the Citizens on Patrol. And what those Citizens on Patrol will be is my eyes and ears out there in the community, like my neighborhood watch, and looking for whether it's a suspicious vehicle or suspicious person. You won't be the one interacting with them. But I'm going to give you the tools through teaching by my deputies and my detectives on how to act, how to react, how to talk to folks, how to respond to certain situations. Some generic first aid to include CPR, things like that, so that way you can be an asset out there until we arrive. So that's what I'm looking for as far as next year. And then ultimately, once I get those two established, open up a kids academy for I don't know what the age is right now, but I want to open up a kids academy for 1 week and teach them some skills. Teach them what it's like to be a police officer, because nobody wants to be a police officer. No kid wants to be a police officer. They want to be a YouTuber, influencer, things like that, which is great. But we need to, somebody's got to take our place at the end of the day. And I would love to get some kids involved with our sheriff's office. And that also helps with the kids too, how they look at police officers, how they interact with police officers, things like that, to know that we're not out there arresting everybody. We're there to help them. So just some plans for the future that I'll be working on at the end of the year, going into next year. And all the school resource officers, they all fall under the sheriff's office now. So we work hand in hand with the school resource officers for different cases and things like that. And they help us make sure that everybody in the schools are trained for active shooter. They make sure that, they have laptops from my office, so that way they can do their cases at the school for juvenile cases and things like that, so they don't have to come here and stay, and that takes them out of the school. So, and the same thing, if we get this new CAD system RMS, then we'll integrate that with them as well, so that way they can do their cases over there and be on site in case something happens. And the biggest thing with this, we're spearheading a new training program that's going to integrate all of our fire and ambulance and police force and law enforcement agencies within the county. That if you didn't know, we did an operation the beginning of August at the West Side, and then we went to Lakeway. Great events. The first event, not so much as far as we killed the bad guy, we neutralized the bad guy. However, we learned we made a lot of mistakes. Which is not a bad thing, because it was a learning experience. When we came back to AAR, we had a lot to talk about as far as what the ambulance does when they get there, what the fire does when they get there, what law enforcement does when they get there, and how we're going to communicate. Communication is the biggest thing, and it will always be the biggest thing because we're all on separate radios, we're all on separate frequencies. Nobody's talking to everybody. So what that did was that turned into the next day at Lakeway into a much bigger event and a heck of a lot better event where we worked as a team. When the ambulance got there, we sent them down to help with the safety teams. They go into the school with our deputies after we've neutralized the threat. The safety teams go out and get the injured people out, treat them as they're going, triage them as they're going, get those that need to come out ASAP, get them out, and then get them back into the command post where they can be treated further and further evaluation by the paramedics. So, like I said, and we made mistakes on that one too. But the good thing is we made them on those training areas, and that gave us a lot to think about, a lot to learn with, and that's turned us into a very valuable training program that we're going to institute across the county with all of our first responder agencies so that we're all training together, we're all fighting together. And everybody knows the mission. Everybody knows what's going to happen with when they get there. So that's a big thing because we have never ever. I can't remember when we've worked together as a countywide, to do something like that. I've been since 2014, and it hasn't happened since I've been on the sheriff's office. So and everybody loved it. So, and the biggest thing is it helps the community because it shows the community that we're working together, and we're all, and that makes us a vital resource when something like they can count on the first responders when they get there. They're going to react, they're going to act, and they're going to do what needs to be done to save as many lives as possible. Well, the last thing before I close, what I want to say, this sheriff's office, I am not hiding from accountability. I am accountable for everything that happens in the sheriff's office. Every decision is made in the sheriff's office, from the deputies to the detention officers. I will never shuck that responsibility, and I will remain accountable. And if it's something I need to explain, then I will explain it. So transparency is big. I've tried to be as transparent as possible, especially with Facebook and on the app and the webpage. I hope that it's showing that, I have nothing to hide. If we screw up, then we screw up, and we're going to fix it. I told my guys, if it's not illegal and ethical and moral, you lie to me, then we can fix it. But one of those four things, that is instant termination, and it won't be tolerated, and we'll drive on from that if we make one of those major mistakes out there in the community, which with this team that we've assembled, me and Chief, I think that we've got a great group of personnel that really care about working in this community, that want to do a good job for you. They're not out for the money. If they were out for the money, they'd be at Phelps or Laclede or somewhere else. We're up at the lake working at making 60,000. So that means a lot to me, that they want to come here and work, because it's not a job that especially this county, right? This county has always been known as Wild Wild West, and I tell these guys all the time, and especially the new hires, they will learn more in Pulaski County in 1 year than what they'll learn in another county surrounding us in 5 years. We have everything in this county because we're a Class 3 county with Class 1 problems. We will continue to work with professionalism. We will continue to work and treat everybody with dignity and respect. If there's ever an issue, you call my dispatch and they'll patch it through to me if I'm in the building. If not, then they'll take a note and put it in my box. But I'm always available for any questions or concerns or comments or anything like that. So with that being said, I will open it up to you all for any citizen comments or questions or concerns. Yes.
I got a couple. Number one, you was talking about block cameras, the communication between them. Would that include like one at Lowe's? And there a block camera at Lowe's? Or did I let the cat out of the bag? No.
If they give us permission, yes, they are at Lowe's.
Okay. The other thing is, and I just watched the news earlier when they come here, the body cameras to me have always been one of those things that shows that we as citizens are ignorant, and the officer pretty much is on point. Because I just watched the thing with a assistant AG in Rhode Island bitching out, an officer, because she was drunk as a skunk and didn't want to turn around and play the card. And the thing is, if it wasn't for those body cameras like that, everybody would say, "Oh, that officer was wrong," and it is. I think that's a real good way to protect our officers. Not only sheriff's department, police department, what have you, but I think that is a real key too.
And the other thing that the citizens should know as well is we can't delete anything. Once we come into this building, it automatically downloads to the server. they can watch it, they can save it, they can send it to me or whatever, but they can't delete their body cameras. The only person who can do is our IT. So another thing for transparency, making sure that everything is kept and the way it should be. Well, it's the officer's best tool for something like that. But like it helps the community as well, because if the officer, the deputy's wrong, it will show that as well. And we'll be able to take action on that. So, it's a great tool, and it keeps you from seeing the 1 minute video that somebody took on their phone versus seeing the whole thing, how that transpired. So, it goes both ways for the citizens and for the deputies. So it is a great tool.
And the other thing on Fourth Amendment, as a former newspaper publisher, we used to have people, you can't take my picture. But once you go out in the public, you have no expectancy of privacy.
No,
You're in the public, so you're gonna be there. So folks, just think about that.
it's no different than me going behind your car and taking a picture with my phone. It takes a picture of the back of the car. It doesn't take a picture of inside the car. And the deputies or whoever's using flock, the flock camera does not give them probable cause. Because if I take a picture of, I'm looking for Reggie and I see his car and it comes across me, there's his car. I'm going to the area. And I pull him over and it's her driving. Why did I pull her over? Still got to get probable cause to make the stop. The flock itself is not reason for stops, and that is spelled out in my SOP. And once we get the flock up and going, we haven't really been talking about the flock that much within the sheriff's office because it's not up yet. But once they get them all up, we've got all of our MoDOT and our highway patrol certifications so they can be put up. So now they're surveying the areas that I want them, and they'll be put up shortly. But yeah, it's not probable cause just by using the flock. That doesn't mean nothing. The deputy still has to get probable cause, like turn signal or speeding or crossing the line, something like that to get probable cause to make the stop. But we just can't make it because it's Reggie Reese's car and it's somebody else driving.
But that's an adjacent to your drone, because the thing is, I'm not sure if somebody's backyard, if they're peeking through a window, they're sitting out on the street, they don't expect it to be in private. So,
Well, the drone will be used for law enforcement purposes, and if we have to use the drone for anything other than that, if we have to use a drone for a search warrant, then that will go through our prosecutor. Yes, sir.
You did say that, you did 100%, or you full strength, say that you patrol in your correction officers?
We're at full strength in my jail. Correction. I had one resign yesterday. I'm one, but it's getting filled. And as soon as I can get this person onboarded, I will be full strength on the road. So I have 16 on the road, 14 in the jail.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Because I hear you're writing a lot of grants, which I think is phenomenal. But I did hear you say that the agency is one of the lowest paying sheriff's departments. I had this like being involved in the sheriff's department. What can we do to make that pay competitive? So they don't want, I mean, the attrition rate there for a while, a lot of times. I know it's been here for a while, but what can we do to make the pay competitive?
Buy a lot of stuff for the law enforcement tax. I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not making it as an excuse. I mean, the grants are there, and if I can get them, great. That saves, that saves the taxpayers from having to get that burden. Like my rifles, we just got brand new rifles. Those rifles were paid for by our old rifles we turned in, and hopefully by either auctioning rifles or turning rifles in from evidence. So that paid for all of our brand new rifles for all of our deputies. So instead of paying $20-some thousand for all those rifles, that's what we got to do to try and make up for some of the, the lacking of the funds in the budget. There is something else that, and I'll be talking with the prosecutor about this here in a few minutes when we're done, but yeah, you don't know it yet, but, the budget is the budget. I've always said that, but I mean, and it's my job to be a steward of the budget and take care of the taxpayers' dollars. And I feel so far that I've done that. We haven't, I'm telling you now, what kills me is the bills. The electric bill, $10,000 electric bill. The phone bill, the gas car bill, we had somebody service the jail and that bill, and we have, paying for the cooks and that's all the money. Yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been nothing bought by this sheriff's office except for a friggin' $800 door, for my evidence room and the vehicles that will start being paid for next year off the general revenue budget. So most of the stuff, and we got 25 headset. We got probably about $100 and some thousand. Am I wrong? $100 and some thousand worth of equipment, through what's that? Through LASO, 25 headsets and 7 pair of PVS 7 night vision goggles, that we went out and looked for, and my training sergeant found it and he applied for it and we got it. So we just have to be creative. We can't expect to get everything we want all at once, but it'll come and we'll keep working at it. But that's really about all we can do.
Vote on a secondary law enforcement act. Because the one you heard they have. No more than that. All that stuff. But that's not something else.
Well, I mean, there for a while, you got, everyone's out here, I'm not sure if it's like, you got guys out here responding shots fired, $16, $17 an hour.
It's half of the average blood duration.
Right, I'm with you, man. I like that.
$32 an hour is what the average should be.
And I did this last time too. I mean, if you look back at the deputies' uniforms, that's nothing that I bought for them, except for the body camera. But they bought all that stuff and the badges I bought. But I don't have the equipment to outfit deputies. I give them the crap that I have, and then they go out and they buy their own stuff. I don't have the funds for it because So with that, I'll take donations. I'm just playing. But with that said, there's going to come a time and day where that budget is going to be a benefit for us, whether it's through something else. Thanks, Cooner. But the problem we have now with our budget is this jail was an $8 million jail. It was supposed to be an $8 million jail. $500,000 was supposed to go towards the jail out of that law enforcement tax. Well, this jail ballooned up to 16, 17 million. I'm sorry, it was 8 million with a $500,000 payment. This jail ballooned to like 16, 17 million. So our jail payment is 1.3 million per year for the next 20 some years.
And sunsets that your jails pay all the time. Wasn't there some sort of situation that due to the previous sheriff that made where you couldn't be federal? And I'm not asking you to blame anybody, but wasn't there at the very beginning when it was discussed about doing a law enforcement tax or jail, is that you're going to be able to acquire a limited amount of space federal that they pay for on a daily basis for possible federal threat, and situations in the former administration created problems that didn't happen.
Well, the plan, this jail was built for federal inmates. We have a huge recreation area downstairs. A county jail doesn't have to have a recreation area. We have a recreation area that was built specifically for federal inmates. We currently cannot house federal inmates because the jail is being paid on tax-free bonds. So we can't charge the government, we can't charge the federal government money to house federal inmates on it's got a lien on it more or less. So, until this jail was paid off, or I don't know if the answer is to redo I don't know what the answer, I'm not a financial guy, but, we're not using the jail to its full capability. We were made to temporarily house federal inmates for $85 a day versus state inmates, which will still house. They just got to be housed separately for $25 a day or $23.75, which is getting ready to jump up to $37.50. So that will be a nice increase to our per diem for the inmates that we house. But yes, that was the plan, was to house them. To put it, I mean, you got one county that houses hundreds of federal inmates making millions and millions of dollars on their budget versus us. So I don't need 85 federal inmates. I could go with 10 federal inmates. I mean, I'm not being greedy. And federal inmates are a hell of a lot harder to handle and maintain than state inmates. There's detainees waiting for prison and court. But again, it is what it is, and I'm going to deal with it and roll with it how how we have to. So
And not to negate your officers out there, but the thing about it is, when we passed the law enforcement tax, we were told this, and then we got this. And the thing is, it's gonna be real difficult to put a secondary, say, okay, we'll leave this. And I'm not saying anything against you, because
Yeah.
you proved yourself so far to me. And the thing about it is, though, there's gotta be some sort of lock for taxpayers go, oh, yeah, we can do that.
we've been taxed to death. Taxes.
Oh, heck, yeah.
Something's got to happen. I want to work an angle that I will talk about with others first, to make sure that I'm getting my full budget. So, with that said, I mean, I do not want to put a tax out there, but it's, if I start losing people because of money and because they can't afford to pay their bills and stuff like that, I mean, my detention officers down there, I mean, it's daggone, 37,000 a year to do the job that they do, which they should be right up there commensurate to the deputies. There's a couple sheriff's offices where the detention officer and deputies are the same pay, and they go up by years, but we're not fortunate enough to have a pay scale like the military. Like every couple years you get a pay bump. It's just not built into the budget.
The other part being is, and because I am, I'm one of those senior citizens that got my tax froze. Is that gonna?
Oh, you're good then.
Yeah, well, no, I still got concerns and I still use stuff. You know, my deal is that, because at our last meeting, we were told that there was like 1,600 people that actually were approved to do that. Because those revenues are, because everybody thinks that, well, the cities are lowering your taxes, but you're gonna find a higher tax bill because your assessment went up, you know? And the thing is, for those of us who did that, has anybody looked at the loss of revenue, potential loss of revenue, and that would create for you?
No, there's probably gonna be a loss. What that is, I mean, I won't know until next year. But again, I mean, it's my responsibility to maintain the budget and get what we need, the ways that we can get it. And I mean, I'm just gonna keep charging along. I mean, that's all I can do.
Well, I give you kudos for going after grants that probably have been lost over the years. It could have been upgrading our sheriff's department for many, many years.
Well, we'll see how good of a grant writer I am if I can get these two big ones passed, but.
You got 3 out of 5 so far. I'm thinking you're doing a pretty good job, good.
Well, those were, yeah, those weren't as extensive as these were, but still, I mean, they're in there. That's all I can do. Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. I'll say something too.
You know, you and I have talked before about this. One of the growing problems across the United States right now is the child trafficking. Pulaski County is kind of ranked as far as the geographical location of that. As a matter of fact, Missouri is, and we've been teetering right around number 3 and number 4 in the country right now.
Hold on, do you all hear that? We're between number 3 and number 4 in the country for child trafficking.
So I've been
The Missouri, the state.
I've been encountering human trafficking for over 20 years. I actually started in Honduras back in 2003, and it's something that I've been doing ever since. So I'm a resident with a nonprofit, and I was also to develop on for about 10 years. But in this particular building comes rescue, it encompasses a lot of resources and a lot of help needed, especially with law enforcement. But what I've learned across the board, for the cases in multiple states, is a lot of law enforcement officers are not trained in human trafficking intervention. Melody, my colleague, and I, along with Meredith, we're coming from a nonprofit called Tiger Ability. We are trying to develop initiatives in order to protect Missouri. I just came from a conference in Iowa, spoke to some sheriffs there, along with some council there, some Iowa representatives. They're looking for initiatives. They look at us as a sister state. To them. A lot of times these guys go across state lines once they get up there. And by the time law enforcement has responded to that, they're already out of the county. And it's a big issue. Texas just had that operation this summer, Operation Soteria Shield, where there's about 109 kids that have rescued across the state, about 200 or something less. It is right here in Missouri. A lot of victims here in Missouri and out in Texas through the cartels and in other gang related organizations. We're trying to do something. And one of the things that I told Ivans there is when it comes to our kids, you don't have to ask for permission to intervene. As a citizen, you need to stop that perpetrator. At least that's my stance. There are some counties that don't like that. They do it, they're not trained or have resources to do that. But as an adult, kids have been harmed. We have to protect them. I think that's what our duties as American citizens, as voters. And so we're trying to come up with initiatives. We want Pulaski County to be able to lead the charge on some kind of programs that we're putting together as far as education, training, mock scenarios, putting officers through fight-like scenarios when it comes to trauma, treatment, recovery victims, all that type of stuff. What to do if somebody's overly emotional, what to do when you're rescuing somebody or you come across somebody accidentally, but they don't want to leave out of fear, but you have to get them out of the situation as an officer. And that's it was actually on a case a few years ago where I was trying to rescue a single mother out of St. Louis who was taken by floods. They found out I was trying to rescue her and sold her to the bus in Atlanta, Georgia. It took me 14 months to finally track her down, but Homeland Security got involved. Finally tracked her down to a Super 8 hotel because they kept moving her from hotel to hotel. And they went in with 10 heavily armed federal agents and still couldn't get her out because the traffickers own the entire hotel. And part of our education, I was talking to the superintendent about this, is, as a professional, when you're traveling, or even just as a family member, when you're traveling, you book a hotel, you know, just little things like before you get out, sit in your car for about 10 minutes, and just assess your surroundings. Because if you see random people sitting in their cars, facing a hotel, a lot of times those guys are spies because they bought a floor that they're using as rock. And if you're a single lady, you know, or if it's melon, well, she may fight. One of the things that they're doing, and they're doing it wrong also, is they're now putting a chemical base on the door handle. So when you go and check in and you come back and touch that door handle, right, your body starts going on, it pads out, and they try to do that with also. So it's all these little things that we would like to bring to light and bring that education and training to the county. But we want to be able to do that in a collaborative effort with the sheriff, prosecutor, so that we can start putting together cases that the prosecutor can check off and start putting folks in jail, get folks arrested. And one of the things that I brought up to some Missouri reps was when they were asking, how do we combat this in Missouri? Getting with the nonprofits where the victims or the survivors are being held that want to talk, they still have a lot of actual information on who you guys are. Like, you know, times, dates, locations, all that type of stuff, but there's no law enforcement follow-up to get that information to a prosecutor in a sense. So we're trying to bridge that gap. We're being very bold in what we're trying to do now. We're trying to get a governor approval for a specialized response units for the state of Missouri with apprehension authority on guys that are solely focused on human trafficking intervention, you know, and arrest. And, you know, but we want to be able to test some things out with the sheriff's department here in this county. And then that would create a duplicatable system because our neighbors in Iowa, along with Illinois and Oklahoma, they're hungry for something like this. We sit geographically right in a hot spot, you know, with I-44 and 70. There's a lot of victims on the eastern side of the state end up in Memphis, Atlanta, and Chicago. Over here on this side, you end up in Dallas, El Paso, or Arizona. You know, we're going out west, they end up in Las Vegas, Oklahoma City, or Los Angeles. You know, and so trying to, you know, rectify, you know, these avenues of approach to our citizens and protect our communities, education for our kids. We're trying to get into school for specialized training with students. We're trying to create, we just had a summer camp this summer called Operation Alpha, where we teach our kids on how to identify certain users and stuff like that, teaching life skills and some escape evasion stuff, you know, if they were ever put in captivity. And one of the things that we're trying to push now with our kids is what do you do in the middle of an abduction as a 10-year-old? You know, and so we're trying to train them up to go, you fight in that moment right then and there, and you do the best you can to draw blood off of that perpetrator. So crime scene investigators gather evidence so that we can figure out who that person is. Because once these kids are taken, they're, you won't see them again for about, you know, after 90 hours. They're just gone. You know, so I'm glad to see some of the states right now are taking a bold, you know, stance. I want after a lot of these guys. But Missouri, like, we really have to try to get the state back and protect our families. And we want to start here, you know, in Pulaski County, the sheriff's department, and run a lot of initiatives by you and see what we can do. We definitely want to offer some free basic training for the deputies and all your staff. And we want to also offer it to the fire department too, because they may also come across cases they may not know, you know, that there's a victim there. I think it's important. So I'm glad to hear you guys did a collaborative effort with all your emergency services. We would like to bring that training and education piece to the sheriff's department.
Absolutely. You know, we talked after that, I mean, that's, education is key. So the more knowledge we have, I mean, and be able to react and to know what to look for. Because right now I think it would be accidental. Oh, this might. So the more knowledge they have, the better we are, you know, as the county. So by all means, Reggie, that's You know my stance. I'm all for it. So,
We have a preliminary outline for you to look at and get anybody's opinion on what you want that training to look like and what you already have, like what you already know. A lot of great things, like, knowing that your resource officers are tied in with the sheriff's department actually helps us in our
Mhm.
forward motion, knowing that you're already collaboratively working together on certain things, is definitely helping us in that aspect. That's so with everything with it's the aerial initiative, and having Pulaski County, I'm very excited to everything that I've heard from you and how you're moving forward with technology and with grants and trying to just combat any crime that you can throughout the county. We can teach the kids at the camp, but if our law enforcement doesn't know, or if our kids don't know, it has to be a collaborative effort across the board, with the school, and understanding and knowing what the difference is between all of the different, DP and FA and trafficking, and because it doesn't all look the same, but a lot of people
right.
don't know that. So we're definitely excited to partner with Tiger Lily, and we hope to, with your input and others' input, have everything ready to go by September 15th and possibly roll out something initially with you guys before the end of the year, and then have you host possibly, we would host a collaborative effort with Pulaski County being at the head of that, with other law enforcement agencies throughout Missouri.
Okay.
Roundtable.
Yeah,
Reggie, were you saying that you're ready and prepared to work with the nonprofits, or you're saying you'd like to?
we are ready and prepared.
Yeah, so I'm the vice president for Tiger Lily already. But we've tacked on an initiative called the Aerial Initiative. And, so Tiger Lily is founded by Meredith Temple. She's out of St. Louis, Illinois area. She was a survivor herself. She got herself out. And she's been, for about 10 years now. She's actually one of our guest speakers we want to bring down here to the community to
You
tell
can
her
hear
story.
Meredith.
The reason I ask you is I'm the director of Show Me Nonprofit. What we do is bring nonprofits together. Exactly what you're doing. So I'd be willing to coordinate that for you.
Yeah, definitely want to get your information on that.
Exchange.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, quick question.
Yes, sir.
A few things. How's it going in the city of Concord? I live on the outskirts there, I don't live in the city. But my concern is, making sure that everybody's safe, because, I know people that live in the city of Concord. I do appreciate you guys putting in that last hour, year to let people know what's going down through that, and that's a great thing.
We need to change that, by the way. We need to move that, by the way.
Yeah, we probably should move it around a little bit. Yeah, how's the city of Concord going? How are you guys?
I mean, you're not gonna make everybody happy. They want more law enforcement, I know, but I mean, that's what I can provide is what I can provide, and they're paying, and the city's paying out of their revenue for a deputy day and night. And that's all I can provide right now. Unless we get more deputies in and I can have, but if something major the deputies spend majority of their time in the city of Crocker. And they get called out, they're free roam regardless.
Yeah, I still love it.
If they get called out of the city for something, I mean, they actually help because they're in that area, whether it's Richland or Dixon, they can respond to that if need be.
Correct.
But the speeding, I mean, when I first did my community forum up there, they were complaining I'm going to pull everybody over for speeding and run people out of Crocker. And now they're complaining there's too much speeding in Crocker. So I understand.
Correct.
Um,
I see it different, so I appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, we're doing our best with what we got, and we will. I mean, there is dedicated law enforcement up there 24/7. You may not see them, but they're there.
My second question is, I have a few students that attend high school. there's quite a few situations in town last year. And I just want to ensure that we have some kind of SRO that can be there friendly. Because last year was kind of, there's a lot of things going on with the different SROs. And there's a lot of bullying going on, a lot of stuff going on. I just want to make sure there's years of change. We have, presence around that area. I'm sure that.
Yeah, Deputy Whiteman, she's the SRO at Crocker. From what I've seen of her, she's very good with the kids. She just started at the end of the year, because I know there was a couple months where, after the other SRO moved away, but she is there permanently now. So if there's any issues, she knows to call, and we got the Crocker, and actually, the Crocker, code enforcement officer, Hosea, he's commissioned by me. So he helps us out a lot, especially if we got a call and we can't get to the school for the crosswalk. 'Cause I know the crosswalk is a major issue.
Correct, right.
You got two major crosswalks, only one deputy at one of them. Cause I think there's, well, three, the two that cross the street and the one that crosses into the church and, Senex, but, yeah, from everything I've seen from Deputy Whiteman, I mean, she's working good in there, and I haven't had any issues from the superintendent or anything on her. So, and I saw her last year. She was doing good things with the kids. The kids, having fun with the kids, and she's an experienced law enforcement officer too. So, and she will. I mean, if you never seen her, you'll see her. She'll smack somebody around. So.
That's what kids need to see. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a good team.
Yes, you do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to, this is not a question, comment. You proactively think it's being noticed in this community. And I can tell you from individuals, groups, that, this morning, I had a guy cut a tree up in my backyard, blew over last night. He was talking about a problem in one of the communities around here. And he goes, but I can tell you with this new sheriff, he said, you know this new sheriff? I said, yeah, a little bit. And he said, but I can tell you he's gonna be on that. He said, because this guy is making it, made a, comment about the drug house being closed down and all that other stuff. So the bottom line is from groups, community groups, to individuals, what you guys are doing is being noticed. And I know that's not why you do it, but it is being noticed. And I think that the more that gets out, it does have an impact on people willing to commit crimes in this county. So that's a good thing. So that's my comment.
I want them to know. I mean, we can't from Phelps County to Pulaski County because they're on to. I mean, I want them to know. It's horrible. It's not good. So we're doing everything we can to make an impact and show what we can do. So I'd love to have more officers, more deputies, but we'll continue on with the fight.
One more question. With the containment of our border, and you've got ears to the ground as law enforcement, has all law enforcement officers, noted anything about the reduction of fentanyl since the borders been tightened up? Overall, and I'm talking about overall, not just here at Pulaski County, but overall.
I mean, it is, our drug officer, he is having trouble finding it. I mean, he can find, I'm talking like, not the users.
Yeah.
The deputies deal with the users. But finding bulk is becoming a little bit more difficult. It's still out there though, because I mean, it's coming in other ways. It's not just the southern border.
I mean,
But-
that's just another avenue.
Yeah.
I was just kind of.
I will tell you, when I worked narcotics and Trump shut the border down the first time, when he was president, I couldn't, if I found meth, I was paying $800 for a half ounce. And that is a large amount of money for a half ounce of methamphetamine. And then I'm getting yelled at for paying $8. I was like, that's all I can get. So, it will, give it a couple more months. It's going to get harder and harder as the time goes by, as long as it's shut down. But we got the northern border, we got the ports to worry about. So they'll find a way in. That's why we're never going to win this war. We just got to keep fighting. We got to win the small battles and take them out as they come to us.
Well, no, the fentanyl seems to be, everybody, law enforcement, everybody. That's why after our coroner gave a speech about the fact about the kiosk machines, and I'll tell you folks, you want to hear a story about that, talk to Private Graves. But kiosk machines and not knowing what kind of substances on those kiosks, whether it's a McDonald's with the teller machines or whatever. And when Mr. Graves explained that, that was when I was like, because it was, and I have to be sitting at a McDonald's and we come out with, yeah.
Definitely this fancy machine, so they don't have to stick those things in their test.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, they got a little fancy test.
Yeah.
First, thank you for everything that, you and your team has done, for this community in a very short time.